Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination. Cheryl has been put to death for making this creation. What is up, my fellow Harley Riders? This is the Perpetuating Party of Patriots, and today we are going to, yet again, be talking about preschool shows. And even better yet, we're going to be talking about a preschool show that I cannot fucking stand. And this one is going to be on a certain purple pedophile by the name of Barney. Now, I have made it no secret on this channel that I think Barney is a genuinely terrible show, because not only is it just annoying to me, but it's also very restrictive, can probably ruin some kids' minds, and I just think it's genuinely bad for kids, and there's a lot of stuff in the show that I think could be genuinely harmful. But that is not what we are talking about today. We're not going to be talking about on the show itself that I do not like. Instead, we're going to be focusing on a very peculiar review of the show that I found on IMDb. And, oh boy, I cannot stand these fucking types of people. But anyways, if you go onto the IMDb reviews for Barney and Friends, you will find one review at the very top that tries to defend the show from people criticizing it. And, let's just say the arguments from this person are very bad. But anyways, let's read this person's review. So the review starts off with the very strong headline that it is a kids show. And the review starts off with saying, I have to admit that I don't like Barney, but the people who keep criticizing the show, you guys should take into account that this is a kids show. Okay, they specifically mentioned it's a preschool show, but I'm pretty sure this person considers those two the same thing. But here's the reason why this is such a faulty argument. Just because it is a preschool show and the target demographic is preschool age kids, that does not mean that it is immune to criticism. And I think a lot of the criticisms for Barney are very valid. Kind of like what I believe. I do think there are certain things on the show that could be harmful. Like, for example, there was actually one episode where I think it was under the name of A Stranger is a Friend You Haven't Met. And believe it or not, this actually led to kids actually falling victim to pedophiles who used that message on those kids. So, yeah, I think these people have perfectly valid reasons to critique Barney. And just because it is aimed at preschool kids does not mean that their criticism is just automatically invalid because of the target demographic. Anyways, let's move on to the next point they try to make. My son is 3 years old and loves it. This show encourages his love for music and singing. It has helped him learn how to use his imagination. Okay, this is going to be a key point in this review for the show, is just, my son is 3 years old and he likes this show, so everybody out there who is of adult age or is a teenager that criticizes this show, all of your points are invalid because my 3-year-old likes this show. That is very fucking stupid. Anyways, let's move on. The songs and characters might drive me nuts sometimes, but I can't fault the show that encourages imagination. Okay, but let me ask you this, though. Can you fault a show that basically teaches that individuality is immoral and that cheating and stealing is okay? Can you fault that stuff about it? I doubt you can, because, it's a preschool show, so clearly it's immune to critiquing. But seriously, though, there's also another thing that I'd like to comment on. These people that seem to think that if a show has good morals or has a good message, then pretty much everything else about the show doesn't matter. So if a show doesn't teach a good moral lesson, then it's bad. Or if the show's heart is in the right place, then, well, fuck everything else about the show. That is the only thing that matters. Yeah, that I cannot fucking stand these people. But anyways, let's move on to the next point. Okay, the next couple bits of the review basically just talked about the "I love you" song, which is really annoying to me. But then the person makes another point that goes somewhat along the lines of, to the people who comment saying that this show is brain numbing and makes kids stupider, well, watch it with a preschooler, then see what they get out of it. And then the person goes on to basically just literally say, don't knock on the show if you haven't watched it with a preschooler. So this person is seriously trying to argue that you can't criticize the show that is aimed towards preschoolers unless you have watched it with one. So I'm guessing you must also think that you can't write a preschool show unless you have preschoolers helping you. I mean, by your logic, you'd probably try to make that argument too. Oh, but when someone's using your own logic against you and making you look stupid and proving your point wrong, nah, that doesn't count. That does not count. Unless you're trying to knock on people that criticize the show, then yeah, you can't use that logic against me because I have a preschool kid and I don't want anyone criticizing my points. But thank God for the review below it. Yeah, I'd just like to detail this a little bit. It's quite ironic that the review literally just below this one, not only in the headline, but in the actual review itself, basically proves everything that the previous reviewer said to be a bunch of horse shit. Not only does the person in this review talk about how just because it's a kid's show, that doesn't mean it's immune to criticism, and basically proving that the "it's just a kid's show" argument is fucking stupid. But it also details some of the things that I've been saying in this video, like Barney being actually harmful to kids. But yeah, just case in point, I hate people who use the "it's just a kid's show" argument to defend preschool shows from criticism. But anyways, that's all I really have to say for this video. So, see you guys later.